Ames.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. We've done a lot of photography. We've done a lot of different things today. We're trying to sort out the social media.
And it's so much hassle, isn't it, to get all this stuff?
Yeah, but it's, platforming Hiyos live, making it better, getting your name out there, being famous.
Remember to like, and you too. Remember to like and subscribe. And we ought to give a shout out to Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
In the back end. Sam, pop your head in.
Pop your head in the camera. He's our technical person today.
He's doing
clinical pharmacist by day.
Yeah.
Editor by night.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn profile.
Update your LinkedIn profile. Today, though, Ames, we're going to talk about loneliness and stuff. It's actually surprisingly common, isn't it?
So much more common now. I think in a way it's more common than it even used to be 10 years ago. I think like people being more online has actually isolated a lot more people.
Yeah.
Even though there's still that social interaction, there's so much to be said when you meet someone physically and actually have that one-to-one connection. Whereas like online, it's just all hidden behind the keyboard.
It's weird. Even like if you're loneliness, you think, oh, well, don't have friends or family. But actually, this is loneliness within friendships and within family.
You feel so isolated and so alone, even surrounded with loads of people.
Yeah.
Like when you go to work, you can just sit there and feel like, oh my God, like I feel so no one cares, like all of this social stuff. Where in actuality, it's often not like that at all.
Yeah, I think sometimes like with my kids, for example, they're just like when they're in their watching their iPads or something, they're just like completely zoned out.
Yeah, and in their own world.
Yeah, and it kind of, I don't know. Do you think all the digital stuff has made a massive increased loneliness?
I think definitely increased. I think the pandemic didn't really help matters in terms of the uptake of people who feel that isolation and feel that loneliness, because obviously we were all trapped inside our own houses. And even after the pandemic has eased and things have settled down, there is still this I sometimes still feel the isolation of that pandemic and of that time. And you wonder where your social life may have been if not for COVID. And I think being online, though, definitely has its drawbacks. It has its perks. You can meet people who you would never have spoken to before, like around the world. But it also is that drawback of over-reliance on the internet and over-reliance on like this digital world instead of the real world right at the front of you.
I had a friend, actually, and he's got a teenage boy, and he said, look, why do you spend so much time on screens? Why don't you go and see your friend? I'll take you around to his house. And he said, no, Dad, because I can't do gaming because my computer is here.
Yeah.
So he didn't even want to see him. I mean, perhaps this is just nostalgia or something, but obviously we didn't have that in my day. And I'm not sure if I did feel lonely or not, but we always
even in my time, like I'm talking like 10 years ago, we had MSN and like Messenger and all of this stuff. But the main way we saw each other and like spoke to friends in school and stuff was going outside, meeting them outside. Like I was never really like, oh, hey, what's up? Like talking to them for hours and hours on MSN. It's just not how it was.
I wonder if that's because of computers. Yeah. Because like you couldn't put a computer in your pocket.
No. No, back then, like there was the brick, like very small phones that you had to pay for each text message that you sent.
Oh, yeah.
So your mum and dad were like, no, you're not sending too many text messages, credit, £10, all of that. Like,
you got unlimited data.
Unlimited data, unlimited text. So there's no restrictions to your discussions online. So of course people would feel more at ease instead of like going out
And finally, actually, if you think about even watching telly as a family in the olden days, of course it's olden days conversation, but you know, like, is it Gogglebox or something where they got...
they sit around the TV.
To sit around and they watch the same thing at the same time. Like, it's even that doesn't happen anymore.
Like when I was younger, we used to watch like Top Gear and stuff as a family every day every Sunday, and that was like our tradition as a household. But now, none of us do that. Like none of us will sit there and like watch something. We'll watch it all at different times and talk about it later and do all of that. But there's none of the like cohesiveness that there used to be.
Because like I think there is like you get people like in our house, like curled up watching different things. And even if they are watching, say, for example, they're watching Top Gear or something at different times, then they might want to discuss it. But there's a difference in watching it live now because saying, oh, look, he did this, or at that particular point in time. And if you can see that in Gogglebox, can't you? Yeah. And people say, I'll look at that. And, I remember, I wonder what happens next. And you it's more of an experience.
Different people pick up on different things.
Yeah, and you think,
Exactly. And I saw this, and this person, I saw that. And, like, it's that knitting together feeling. I don't think it's so, like, it's not as round as much as it used to be. Due to a variety of different things, people are just different now. They rely a little bit on the internet more for their social connections and stuff.
The idea is, though, that it's more personalised for you and that you get to see more of the stuff you want to see.
The algorithm.
The algorithm.
The algorithm, the deadly algorithm on TikTok that somehow knows what you're thinking out in your brain.
For the algorithm, the A.
The Illuminati kind of thing. No, but it's like you can think about something and then 5 minutes later it's on your TikTok.
How does that even work?
How does that happen, right? And it's because you've liked something 3 weeks ago and it's come up.
Well, did you know that if you, for example, this is a fun fact, if you look for say you did a search for just got pregnant or something, or what do I do now that I'm pregnant or something, or pregnancy test, 9 months later it'll send you stuff about baby stuff.
That's crazy. It's all the cookies.
It knows that.
Yeah, it's genuinely like cookies, like little bites of information are being stored about your every internet search. And that's why people are always like, you should use VPNs, you should use all of the, because of the updated security measures in our lives now. Like, hackers are everywhere. They're in websites. If you click on a random link, they can steal all of your information. Because everything's stored on our phones as well, like our cards and our date of birth and everything about us is everywhere, right? And it's scary.
Don't scare people.
Not to scare people.
Cookies are good, but normally when you have them with a cup of tea,
just
read a glass
before you accept every single one, because often it will tell you what you should and shouldn't accept. You shouldn't just accept all cookies. You should read.
Oh, really?
No.
I generally just accept everything.
But the thing is, like, because your information will be leaked to different marketers and you get more random rubbish.
I thought on those websites, it normally says, say yes, and then you'll have a proper experience of that website.
No, so you should always accept the necessary cookies to ensure that the website, so when you'll see accept all, and like settings or other preferences. And if you click on that, it will say only necessary cookies. They're the ones you should accept.
Now, that is a top tip for me.
Yeah, they're the ones you should accept. They're the ones that are necessary to run the website. The other ones are marketing ones, stuff that you don't need, stuff that you don't want to see either, like stupid adverts and all of that. Like, yeah. So definitely read into everything before you accept it. Like terms and conditions.
They're so long.
No one reads the terms and conditions, but you should at least read the first few lines.
The cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
Read the cookies. Only eat as many cookies, accept as many cookies as.
I had more than a few cookies today.
Let's not talk about real long cookies. 5
or 6.
We don't condone that sort of behavior.
Thank you, Nuggets, for buying us cookies. Every day.
Shout out to
our assistant practice manager for feeding us.
Yes. You are having lots of things.
Dr. Mahmud was having a vegetable.
So going back to this loneliness thing. So there is this other thing around kind of people who might be living in big cities, for example, and don't have friends or family around. Because big cities are scary.
Really isolating. You're around all these people and you think, oh, I don't feel lonely. But in fact, you feel more lonely than you would do in the villages and the smaller towns, because in smaller towns, people are more likely to have interactions.
Yeah.
Like when you go up north, we're in like London area. Up north, people say hello to you. They'll ask you how you are just randomly when you walk past each other in the street. Whereas here, we ignore everyone and we don't make eye contact. We walk straight. We don't see anyone.
Even someone's face is right on the tube or something.
Just a hello or how are you can actually make the difference in people's days.
It can do, but in big cities though, somebody says hello and how are you?
You want to run away.
They're a bit odd. You might think they're a bit odd.
Yeah,
No?
Yeah, that's
Why is that?
true. I don't. Well, I'm not sure if it's just weird. Like you just feel odd. There's just a like. I think it really depends on the context as well. Like if you're on the train by yourself, and you have your headphones in, and someone goes up to you and goes, "Hello," you're going to feel
that's
odd.
Yeah.
It's going to feel not nice. Whereas if like there's a conversation,
if you bump into you drop
if you, for
something.
example, you bumped into Sam and then a conversation brewed, then that's something completely different. But with a complete stranger, I wouldn't feel.
Funny thing is, that was an interesting point because I grew up in Birmingham, and people are much more friendly than in London, and over time, I think I've become less likely to talk to people.
Yeah. But when you came from Birmingham and you were like, "Oh, hello,"
yeah, it's like Crocodile Dundee in New York or something,
and they're just looking at you like, "No, walk in the opposite direction."
Because people, they just kind of get blanked, I suppose. But yeah. So, what can people do if they're feeling like, say, if they're not familiar, they haven't got lots of friends or family in a big city?
To be honest, like I don't know, I was criticized like being online so much, but like Facebook groups and stuff.
Okay.
So like there's a lot of in our local area. There's a lot of like walking groups, gardening groups on Facebook where you can talk about like your interests, and you often will start to have conversations with people. And then for us, like we're located in Hounslow, there's Hounslow community groups where people talk about like what's going on in the local area, what kind of events are available like throughout the year.
Yeah.
And there's stuff like that you can definitely do. It depends if you have kids, right? Because if you have kids, you can speak to people's parents and create groups that way as well.
True. Yeah, because it's whatever interest, and at work as well.
Exactly.
As sometimes people don't want to, I don't know what, they don't want to impose on other people at work, and they don't want to, be a burden.
Yeah. I think it's quite hard to open up anyway.
Yeah.
And then like if you want to talk about like your actual personal things and not just, there was so much scanning to do or whatever, like it's quite hard. Like, but when you do, like I've made my closest friends from work.
Yeah.
Like because we're together so much of the time anyway, you learn people's quirks and interests, and there's so many common things between us all. Yeah. And when you actually start talking, you actually find out so many things. Like talking to you, I'll never talk to you outside. I've never done it like randomly.
But I might have talked to you in Birmingham, and not in London.
Exactly, but like we talk all the time. Yeah. I talk to Sam all the time. I talk to maybe I talk too much, but I talk to everyone. And that's just because of our common interest.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's that thing about a shared experience.
Exactly.
Isn't it? So you like, so at school you go through a shared experience, assignments, and it's kind of a
bonding experience.
But it's stressful.
Yes, yeah.
And it's like you got to do this and that and the other. And at work, it can be really stressful at times, but actually kind of it brings you together a bit. Like you said about babies and kids and stuff. So it's a really, maybe it is a bit of adversity that brings you together, exactly. And then having being able to do things that interest you, like keep you healthy or keep you fit, or
like I was speaking to someone who works here, and she told me about this app where if you walk more, you gain more points and stuff like that. And it's like exercising, going out, even just walking the dog. Like I meet people when I walk the dog, people who want to stroke and people who just want to talk, right? I assume it's with you and Dash as well. So even just having an animal or having something to...
The thing about me and dogs is that I've never been that comfortable. So I find it really awkward to talk to other people with dogs, because I kind of, I don't know, I need to get over that, don't I?
What, are you a bit... Is it fear?
No, I just I don't really know what the doggy questions are.
How old are they? What are they? What breed are they? I can't say what
breed are they, can they? Because I should know.
But you know what breed your dog is?
No, but I should know roughly what they're...
No, I'd just be like, what is he? Or she?
But, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like... You just be like, oh, he's cute.
So I don't mind chatting and stuff, but I find it really hard to talk to random people. There's this concept of networking, isn't there, where you chat to...
Yeah, I'm not a fan of just random, hi, I'm this person, I do this, and yeah, it's not for me.
It is a way of reducing... I think networking because you want something is quite different to networking. You know, if you said, look, my name is Tal and I want to be your friend, then obviously I would freak you out.
Yeah.
I think maybe if you just go back to the shared experiences,
interests and stuff,
interests, that might work. Can I pick your brains about sort of one more thing? Like at this time of year, there aren't that many walking groups going on because it gets dark early, gets, it's cold, it's miserable. A lot of people are indoors. If you're living alone at home and it's Christmas and it can be a really particularly tough time.
I think
you're supposed to be feeling all happy.
I think it's seasonal affective disorder, right? Where you feel so much more depressed, not depressed, but you feel low in mood and you feel that that isolation much more when it gets dark early. In the summer, like you just see people walking about late at night at like 9 o'clock and it's still bright as anything outside. But in the winter, added with Christmas, if you are alone, it must be really hard. And if you don't have those friendships and if you don't have that connection, I don't know what the solution is.
Because quite a common question is like, what you do for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like at this time of year.
Yeah.
And you don't really want to impose on other people. But there is this overwhelming pressure, isn't there, of being happy and joyful.
Yeah, it's the
season of goodwill.
Exactly, the season of goodwill. You feel like joy to the world and all of that. Like you feel like you have to be happy.
Yeah.
And if you feel anything but, I think it isolates you even more. It's even harder to open up when people around you are talking about Christmas and how amazing it is. When you're thinking, well, hang on, I'm alone. I've got no one to spend it with. Yeah. And what am I going to do on that day? Because there's no work. Like everyone's off. So there's nothing to distract you from that point.
I mean, you may have family and stuff, but they may be abroad.
They may be abroad. They may be far away. Yeah. Like you may exactly. And how do you bypass that and make yourself feel better about the whole thing? Must be.
And what do you think people could do? I mean, I think personally, if people were to open up and say, do you know what, it's going to be a tough Christmas this year, then I think most people would be quite understanding, wouldn't they?
To be honest, even in those groups that I see, a lot of people are talking about how tough this year is going to be, like cost of living, everything is going to be hard. A lot of people can't afford to gift people presents and the food is scarce and all of that. And I think it is like talking about it with other people and opening up about your feelings. It's really hard, as I said, because everyone wants to be happy at Christmas.
Yeah.
Everyone almost forces themselves to be as happy as possible during that time. But maybe it's time to be honest about how this can be isolating, how Christmas can be really saddening to be on your own and to know that the people around you, your neighbours, to whoever, is having a great time and you're feeling low and miserable, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. It's because on the one hand, the person that you talk to, you obviously don't know them very well in the first place, and then to open up something that you're feeling really uncomfortable about. Yeah, it's quite hard to be able to say anything, isn't it?
Definitely.
Just probably easier just say, "Oh, how are you?" and the answer is fine.
Yeah, exactly. We all say that though. I could be going through the worst day imaginable, but I'm all right. How are you? Because it's just part and parcel of like British culture in a way, just to say, I'm all right.
And if you feel really bad and stuff, and your advice would be to go and talk to somebody.
Go and talk to people. Like there's if you are on your own, I'm sure there's like charities and stuff where you can go. Like if you are struggling with food and all of that kind of stuff, like there are charities I know in our local area that are doing like Christmas dinners and stuff, like especially in the churches. I think they are doing it on that day. Like even around my local area, one of the churches is doing like Christmas dinner.
That's a really good idea, actually. And you don't need to be Christian to go there, do you?
No, definitely not. It's like in the Gurdwara, you can go and have
any faith can go
any
there.
faith, exactly. Yeah. So it's the same everywhere, and I think especially on that day, people are going to find it hard to, like, the food banks may be closed, right? But you can go to church, and it will be the same kind of thing. So yeah.
And if people feel that they're really struggling,
obviously there's like
to their GP.
They can go to the GP, but there's like, if you do feel on that day that you are struggling lots, and like most practices will be closed, there's like the crisis line, there's like Samaritans, there's all of these different places that you can speak to if you are feeling incredibly low, which unfortunately is something Christmas can cause.
And I think it's not just that day as well. It's like the whole period.
From now, like the New Year's blues or something, right? You start the new year and you feel like, and you're like at the bottom, and you start to get better throughout the year. But that January is often the worst.
Mid-January.
Exactly.
I think January's the
awful
highest time.
Yeah.
Divorce and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it's not a surprise.
And that's the thing, isn't it? About there's a lot of expectations. The expectations are like up there, and
because you want to start off the new year great, right? You actually want it to be good, but you're worried about the finances after Christmas. You're worried about like where you're going. Do you need to get a new job? Do you need to like move house? Like all of this stuff is going to be in your head from the start of January. If you need to start going to the gym, you've got this pressure to do all of these resolutions and do so much, and it causes even more problems, and that spreads throughout the month.
And that's pressure you put on yourself, isn't it?
It's no one else cares. Like no one else cares, but
nobody
you
would
care.
Judge you for not going to the gym or not doing.
But and then when you start not going to the gym, that's when you feel at your worst, because you're like, oh, I'm holding this resolution. I need this to work. And then when you stop going, that's it. The lowness is like at the bottom. Yeah. Obviously it gets better, but yeah.
And just ask for help, isn't it?
Ask for help. Like your friends, your friends will help you. And if they truly care, and if they will.
They may, actually, I think sometimes you may know somebody who's not like the closest friend in the world, but actually opening up to people will actually bring
your social circle, like make it better, like speak to even more people, and there'll be more common interests with everyone around. So
yeah. So thanks, Ames. What are your top tips for loneliness at Christmas then?
Ask for help. Speak to your friends and family. Join those Facebook groups. You might actually find people that you have common interests with. Just speak to people, to be honest. That's the best way to like talk about your feelings, and the isolation you have is just stop being so isolating and actually going out and trying to
stop overthinking.
Stop overthinking, because my God, the overthinking can cause
because it is that can be stop you from doing anything.
Exactly.
But no one's going to be lonely over Christmas with us, are they?
Us, because we're going to be putting content out all Christmas on Merry Christmas, guys. Year's. Of course. So New Year's Day, you'll see Dr. Mahmud.
Spend Christmas with us. That's what we say.
Yes.
Right. Thank you very much. Take care. And no pressure, but
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.